I haven't said this in a couple of weeks. Outnumbered overtime. OT, baby!
Yeah,
there she is.
Oh, that came out of my shoes, I think.
Great to have you back, Miss Harris Faulkner.
I so appreciate it.
A lot of love from viewers online as well.
Oh, everybody missed you. People kept tweeting me, "Where's Harris? Where's Harris?" I was like, "She's coming back. Coming back Monday."
We're getting an amazing plant that all of you sent me from the show.
Oh, good.
It was like the biggest thing. It was so gorgeous. Okay. And my dad looked and he said, "Wow, it's like a small child."
Oh.
And it was so beautiful in the card, and I just thank you guys. I love you so much.
To your beautiful mother's credit, when we called down there, they were so overwhelmed with floral arrangements from people calling in that couldn't be there that they ran out of flowers.
I know.
And I said, well, you know what? Plants are a beautiful thing, too, because a family member could then take it home. And
that's right.
My dad did. And he loved it. He loved it.
And it's also the regeneration. You see, there's something very beautiful about that. It's a very appropriate gift.
We're glad to have you back.
Also, Harris, do you like a cactus on occasion? Because I do. No, I'm from Arizona. She has a house in Tucson, and she lives in Arizona too. And I really actually appreciate cactuses.
I do too. I think they're wonderful when they flower in the wintertime. Those desert blooms, they're beautiful. So it's good to be back. And as I look down at the live chat, you guys, wow, look at that. That's got to be close to a record. What did you say? It's got to be you.
I think it was the
We did
discussion.
jump up about 1,000 after you said we'd be talking. I know. I'm like, wow.
It was just a tease. I want to talk about the preemption doctrine some more. See if that goes. No, I don't.
Yeah, okay. Actually, no, you said you're going to be talking about marijuana. So can I ask you an honest question, though, just along those regards? Where do you think we're going in this country with the weed? And where do you think the current president-elect stands?
Well, I don't know that he's said anything about it. I think Senator Sessions, the nominee to be Attorney General, does have a very strong view on the subject, and I think if he's confirmed, he's going to go ahead on it. My own view is I'm against legalization of marijuana, and I think it's a very different drug than it was when the baby boomers were in college, and it was dangerous then, and I think it is today. So I now turn the floor over to Kennedy.
Well,
here we go.
There are a couple things. Number one, you're not going to put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah.
You're not going to put the water back in the bong. You're not going to put the horse back in the barn.
Wow.
But there's a reason that 28 states and the District of Columbia have chosen, these voters have chosen, to make marijuana legal, at least medical marijuana, because a lot of people, myself included, I have family members who have suffered from cancer and the effects of chemotherapy. And when you are given steroids to protect the tissues and organs in your body from the harm from chemo, there's almost nothing they can put in you to stem the pain and allow you to sleep. And I know so many people who have been helped through things like hash oil and medical marijuana, where there's not a high THC component, but they are given some sweet relief.
There may be an argument on the medical issue, but I tell you, if you walk down the main street in Denver, Colorado, either the entire state is sick or something else is going on. And I think we all know that something else is going on, and that's where we're going to have to redraw the line.
And do you know that marijuana use has actually gone down among high school students since they made marijuana legal?
That could be or might not be.
No, that is
I would not say that surveys of illegal activity are necessarily give you a high confidence.
That's the thing.
Amen on that.
It's no longer a legal activity, and there are people who.
Can I be the bridge between you two? Because obviously, foreign policy-wise, I worship at the altar of Ambassador Bolton, but I actually am for
legalization. When it comes to marijuana.
When it comes to marijuana, I agree with Kennedy. And do you know when my mind was changed? When I lived in Los Angeles, and I would go to dinner parties in L.A., and people smoked weed the way people drink wine in this city. I've never seen anything like it, and I was like, if people are going to be doing this, tax reasons alone, economically alone, if this many people are going to be doing it, you might as well make it legal. And my mind was completely changed by living on the West Coast.
Yeah, and you would destroy that tax base in places like Colorado, Washington, and Oregon, where now they do have a new legal revenue stream. A majority of Americans, and they do this polling year after year, quarter after quarter, and for the first time last year, a majority of Americans, and that number is only growing, agree that Americans should be able to make their own choices. And, it would be fine if I went over to Del Frisco's and had 4 martinis.
But can I say one thing? Also, the argument
that's not fine either for you to get behind the wheel. I was my point.
The argument that a young person that's getting caught with some marijuana on them would go to jail for whatever, I don't know the amount of time, but years, to me never seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but
my mind was changed.
That happens to almost nobody. And the fact is, the international drug cartels use this as part of their supply chain. And I do think there's an argument about marijuana being a gateway drug. But my feeling is that whatever opinion is now, we're now going to have a discussion on it. Barack Obama has been absent and indeed
he was actually very bad on marijuana.
Well, that's because he smoked it, and we all know he did.
No, he was very bad about raiding dispensaries and farms in California where it was legal, using that federal statute. And, you know, I have to say, actually, you're wrong about the international drug trade, because if marijuana is legal here and people can grow it here, the reason that it came over the border and so many lives were lost and billions of dollars wasted is because there was a market for it here. It was a black market. It was illegal. And so you have to get it from illegal sources like the Golden Triangle in Mexico.
Yeah, but that's an argument that proves too much, because there's no end to what you legalize next.
Okay, yes, so let's jump in with some viewer comments, because, I wasn't kidding. We jumped up 1,500 people when we mentioned this conversation.
I thought there were photos.
There's a lot of people chiming in, Ambassador Bolton, that they absolutely love you and they would love to see you as Secretary of State, but they also don't want to lose you in this capacity. So,
well, that's very kind of them.
But it's really fun to have you. Harris, you're probably seeing everybody's weighing in on the conversation. So they don't joke around when they say marijuana.
I think that's how we're going to find out, though. I think one day all of these shows are going to try and book the ambassador, including my show, and we're not going to get a call back. And that's when we'll know.
That's when we'll know. I do want to talk more about this marijuana issue, though, because it is, no pun intended, lighting up the live chat.
It is a very hot issue.
Well, I think because it's tied now to this medical issue, and we have so many people in this country who are touched by the disease of cancer, which brings so much pain. And so I do understand that there are two levels of looking at this. There's the recreational level and then the medical level. But when it comes to a tax base, whatever it takes, now these states, if you, again, will forgive the way I'll put it, are addicted to that tax revenue.
Yeah, that's absolutely
and
right.
it's going to be difficult to roll that back. Boy, I have a lot of these. But I would ask this, because I really don't know. What kinds of studies have been done that look at the effects of marijuana?
Very few. Do you know why? There's only one research facility in the United States that's allowed to do research on marijuana. One. Why? It is in Mississippi, because the federal government is so prohibitive. So this way, if Ambassador Bolton is right, and let's say marijuana is so toxic and so powerful now, we can't do the
But it is different than the drug that was 40 to 50 years ago. That much we know. We know it has a potency.
I mean, that the marijuana today is very different from marijuana
of the 60s. I think everything. I think vitamins are different. I think alcohol is different. I think painkillers are different. I think I think cancer drugs are different. Absolutely, and that is the natural evolution.
The argument that I understand, though, is it's the addition of edibles and you know, I don't smoke pot, so I have no idea. But putting it in food form and candy form, that people don't necessarily know the dosage they're getting in that. I just remember reading Maureen Dowd's column when she talked about how she ate an edible. Which was the most
ridiculous and hysterical thing in the world.
But she, I mean, in that she hallucinated. She was having a meltdown in her hotel room, and that to me, you know, from
she also combined marijuana with alcohol. Was told to eat a quarter of the candy bar and decided to eat the whole thing. So she's a very impatient
I'll
stoner.
eat a lot of sugar. It doesn't take much of anything. What's happening on Facebook?
I mean,
weird segue.
Okay. Everybody has an opinion on this quite clearly.
Big issue.
Ambassador, you have to come on my show so we can talk about this. This would be insane.
Let's do a whole hour.
I love on Facebook Live how they have the bubbles.
Discussion.
That means people are saying
the whole
what are they saying?
Okay, so it goes so fast.
I know, it's jumping.
Just like alcohol, marijuana should be legalized so it can be controlled and taxed. Carlton Sumner says this.
Megan's point.
Cyrus Carter says, I hate weed. I hate smoke of all types. Medicinal use is fine, but it should be restricted to home use. Because obviously, we've already gotten rid of
cigarettes in public.
Just to come back to reality here, whatever the arguments for legitimate medical use of marijuana, that's not what's happening. This is not really an argument about medical use. This is about how easy.
Because we can't research it and we don't know.
No. For pain relief, that's one thing, okay? But what we're talking about here is people who have a headache and get a prescription for marijuana.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not strictly, it really is a backdoor way for personal use, and I just think people ought to be honest about it.
Okay.
That's why the opposition has demonstrated itself in campaigns in a number of states.
The opposition is the alcohol alcohol and tobacco industry.
All right, go.
Well,
I was going to say thank you to Ambassador Bolton
places.
for his time.
Oh, gosh, we have to leave?
By the way, somebody asked at night when your kids want to stay up later, do they say, no, Mommy, OT, baby? Don't tell them. I don't want them to know.
Liam says, I am still disappointed Bolton is not on the Supreme Court.
Great to have you.
There's an alternative path ahead.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.